after all that time, we're finally back on this live stream again in order to bring you all the action from this Headhunter tournament. There were some server issues that we were facing, but everything is back on track again. And so let's ride this wave to the end of this final table of the Headhunter 40 lakh guarantee tournament, as we have the final 5 players remaining. An interesting hand developing here. Royal Killer with pocket 5s. And Hi Ye Garmi with pocket 7s. I just can't help myself. And taking it down with that raise there.
Yeah, raise. It was only what? It was 13 big blind shove.
Well, for our viewers who are just joining us back again, or for those of us who are joining, or those of you who are joining us just shortly here, let's take you through the people who have busted out already on this final table. The first one to go was Siddharth Barot playing as I Punt, You I Punt, You Call, and Siddharth Barot finishing in 8th place for 69,000 rupees. Myron Pereria playing as 369, finishing in 7th place for 95,000 rupees. And the last elimination before we had that little glitch was, of course, Manish Gandhi playing as Potlords, finishing with 1.3 lakhs for his 6th place finish.
So now Royal Killer. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. We see a lot of fairly tight folds pre-flop, and then, well, I was going to say peeling with the King Jack, but it's done him.
Yeah.
Helped him out here. He's turned the straight.
Well, that's a nice little turn card for Lucky You. That's Ajay Laturia playing as Lucky You, putting out a bet of little under half the pot. And the slightly unknown quantity here, Tilakumar S as Royal Killer. And sure enough, the straight on the turn for Ajay Laturia, netting him that pot.
Quite a tight check behind on the end. I could have gone for a bit more value, but
yeah, I was a tiny bit surprised there, but it seems, Sam, like for a Headhunter tournament, they seem to be playing slightly more cautious than perhaps the format usually would suggest.
Yeah, they seem to be more cautious about keeping their own heads than collecting others.
It's true.
Yeah, I think Lucky You probably just worried maybe Royal Killer was playing a much stronger hand, a full house. And
Royal Killer hitting that flop with the second pair. Let's see what he does here.
This was, I think he cold called a 3-bet from the button of the ace-5 there. He might just rip this in, just hoping that his 5 is good. And he's going to get a fold here. Oh.
Well. Bit of surprise on that one.
Yeah, I think if you're going to cold call a 3-bet pre-flop, don't really want to go anywhere when you hit any piece of it. But
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't fire out on that flop there, even if he did have second pair. I think at least a reasonable bet was warranted in that one.
Yeah.
Champion player, Pulkit Goyal, that is, adding to his stack with that little pot that he scoops up. And a nice round of garbage around the table once again. It pulls around to the small and the big blind.
This should be an all-in, easy all-in.
Garmi. That's it. High Garmi, living up to his name, turning up the heat in that hand with that all-in move. And of course, claiming that pot. 7 deuce offsuit, only good for shows like High Stakes Poker, where they run those side bets on who's going to win with those kind of hands, but not what happens in most real life situations. Rightly folding in that one.
I saw there was one episode of High Stakes Poker where they were playing the 7 deuce game, and someone just tried desperately to win the hand, and the guy had flopped quad kings.
Wow.
And I think he'd done nearly 100,000 before he finally had to give it up.
Well, sometimes you just feel like you're hitting your head against a wall in one of those situations, almost stubbornly so. But hey, that's the nature of televised poker. Almost as much as something like this, a live stream also would turn the spotlight on these players and make them play a little more coy than usual. So it's not really surprising.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, whenever you know someone's watching, things definitely change. You know, you're going to be open to criticism and banter.
That's true. For the most part, poker players do display thick skins, but every so often with these situations, I think you have to be ready for the trolls once in a way. So, yeah, I think that's something that a lot of these players will also take into account.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, speaking of high stakes poker as a show, Sam, what shows do you personally like to watch? I know there's so much content, in the poker world as such, but tell us some of your favorite shows. You know, besides the usual, the tables that you see of the WSOP or the WPT. What shows have particularly caught your fancy as far as poker as a topic is concerned?
I was going to say the WPT, but
well, those are the ones that most people generally get their taste. Their first fix is usually those two top tournaments, but something that's a little bit outside.
To be honest, that's what I really like, watching those and watching the reruns and the old episodes. I can't switch on too much listening to some of the really in-depth GTO commentary, because that's just, I guess that's not really my game, GTO. I'm more of a feel player, and I like to have a bit of fun. And so yeah, I just like to watch the big ones, the old reruns. Although I do watch a lot of the live streams when they pop up, either online or live, which we haven't had for a long time.
Right.
But it's very frustrating if it's a game where you can't see the whole cards, that I lose my interest immediately. That's
true. It's not very friendly to the viewer, but we have seen those kind of streams. I mean, when they first started live streaming the WSOP, I think it just went on for hours and hours, and certainly it got boring for a lot of people, especially someone who's getting newly into the game. I think it was a little difficult for them to sustain their interest in that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if on the WPT they actually showed the entire game, there would not be half as much interest in poker as there is today.
That's true.
It's like everything, really. When you're a kid, you look at your mum and dad and you think, oh, that's easy. I can have whatever I want when I grow up. I can do this. Everything's so easy. And then you go and see it on TV, the WPT. Oh, I can sit down at this final. I'll just rock up to the studio and I'm playing for $1 million.
Yep.
It's easy. And they sit down and you have to fold garbage for 4 hours in a row.
Yeah. I remember the first time when I came to know about the fact that the WSOP's events would give you 3 times the number of chips that the buy-in for that particular tournament was. I think it was several years ago, obviously. And it just blew my mind at that point in time, because as someone who was just starting to learn the game and getting exposed to it, I was astounded by the sheer number of chips that these players had at their disposal. And yeah, if we had to see all of those hands, I think it would not be as popular as it is today.
Yeah, I remember. I think one of the first times I played the tournaments at the World Series of Poker was when it was sort of dying out, this idea of having 3 times your buy-in. And yeah, I remember playing these 1,000. I was staked at the time, but I just used to think, this is a waste of money. $1,000, you sit down with 3,000 chips, and every day someone was getting all their money in with King 6, and King 7, and yeah, tilting. Anyway, lucky you.
A couple of pairs in this hand. Pocket deuces for lucky you.
Who
folds?
It's lucky he's got just too many chips to really maneuver.
Well, champion player catching a little bit of that flop, and to his detriment, I think.
Oh, that was close. I think this is probably going to go check, check, and Hitesh may put out a small value bet on the end. But I think it might go check, check again. Okay.
Yep.
He should fold this.
And Hitesh by picking up that pot right there. Whenever you've traveled to Vegas for the WSOP and other events, where has been your favorite place to sort of put up? Are you usually someone? I know there's like two groups of people. The ones who do like to stay at the venues like the Rio, and then there's those who definitely don't want to be a part of their post-game stay situation, and so they choose to stay off the strip in those houses that they take up for the month-long, 2-month-long periods that they're there. Are you one of the former or the latter?
I used to always stay in a hotel on the main strip, but that was just annoying because I taxiing to the Rio all the time. The last time I went, I stayed in a house with my brother, but I did once stay at the Rio for most of the series, and it's good and bad. I mean, when you have a bad beat or you bust a tournament, you kind of want to just be out of the Rio. It doesn't matter, it represents the World Series. You just want to be out of there. On the flip side, sometimes if you've played really long and you've busted, or you've just finished the night, sometimes it's nice to just walk straight upstairs to bed instead of having to go out and wait for a taxi in those long queues.
Oh my God. It's quite the pain there.
Oh my God! Wow.
That's a hand that has developed really interestingly on that turn. Well, champion player will want to make sure that he extracts as much as he possibly can in this hand.
Yeah, I think Royal Killer's going to be. It's such a. Yeah, I don't think he'll fold, and he probably won't fold the river. Although I do have a feeling champion player is going to go for maximum.
Yeah, that was a nice little value bet on the previous street, and of course getting a call from that from the Ace Jack of Royal Killer.
Yeah, I think he's going to go for the lot.
And there you have it, an all-in shove by champion player. And let's see if Royal Killer, that's Tilakumar S, whether he can get himself out of this one. He does. And a nice little pot for Pulkit Goyal playing as champion player. I'd mentioned this to Kevin McPhee in one of our earlier streams. Pulkit Goyal actually has won a car from Spartan Poker back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, he took part in the IOPC, if I'm not wrong, and he had a really good run across the tournaments there and topped the leaderboard. And Spartan Poker was offering a Jeep Compass to the winner of that leaderboard. And yeah, he took home that prize. This was a couple of years ago, if I'm not wrong.
Wow, I bet he was happy with that.
Yeah, he was.
Nice.
It was a pretty good cherry on the top of doing well in that series.
Yeah, that's great to have a car at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I can do with some of that action.
Pocket tens in the previous hand for Lucky You, but no joy, and he picks up those little chips for himself.
No.
High Gurmi pops it up to twice the big blind.
I'm a bit surprised to just see it all in here.
Well, Sam Razami running as hot as some of these players with these calls of his. And all in, rightly enough, by Hitesh Bhai in that hand.
This is a kind of a tough one. You could be doing this with less than ace 10, ace 9, ace 8 suited. All the usual king, queen, king, jack, those types of hands. So I think it's a close one.
Yeah, I think there's a case to be made for both calling and folding at this point. I guess either decision might be okay. Well, he's going to be in a world of trouble if he decides to call, but it is a bit of a spot.
Yeah, it's right on the cusp, really, with the ace 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, as High Gurmi takes his time on this hand, a reminder to our viewers that we have another contest question coming up, and well, there you go. He makes the call, and unfortunately, wow. And a flush for Hitesh Bhai as he knocks out Vinayak Bajaj playing as High Gurmi. I really hope that he had continued playing on this table just to say his username a few more times, but unfortunately that is not to be. Ace 10 getting knocked out by the flush, the ace queen of spades hitting that board for Hitesh Bhai. And Vinayak Bajaj not going the distance, but 1.72 lakhs for his finish in 5th place will soothe this thing a little bit. And it's now down to the final 4 players at this Headhunter final table. I don't think any of the feature tables that we've been seeing through the course of this past week, I think there have not been any extended periods of time where there's either been really garbage cards all the way around. There's always been some kind of action that we've seen. So occasionally it kind of gets boring to just watch just the same stuff and fold all the way. But we've seen a fair bit of action. And although I still believe that this Headhunter table, Sam, is quite subdued. As compared to the past ones we've seen.
Yeah, it really is quite. I mean, I was so surprised to not see I thought it would be action from the start. You know, with all these bounties at stake, and they're big bounties now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I think they all have a decent bounty. Oh, Royal Killer has 16k. I thought that was 116.
Yeah, except for Royal Killer, everyone. I mean, the big fat bullseye is definitely on the back of Lucky You with well over 1 lakh behind him in terms of the bounties. So, and it could be no, it's not. The turn and the river being very kind to Royal Killer, and he takes that with a set of aces. Another nice hand for Lucky You with the ace king. Well, now that we've got another round of garbage, maybe it's time for us to ask our viewers to take part in the second contest question of this evening. The contest question is this: from which word is poker derived? What is the origin of the word poker? Make sure you get your answers into the comments with your Spartan Poker ID. Tag 3 of your friends. And if you are one of the lucky winners, then you will get, in fact, 5 of you lucky players who get the right answer will get a ticket into the 10-seat guaranteed satellite to the FTS event number 24, which takes place a little bit. Well, it's already underway, so perhaps we will try and get you a ticket into another event. We'll just clarify that with our team. But that's the contest question. Make sure you get your answers in there. And once again, a reminder, the question is, from which word is poker derived? It's not that far off, actually. So, in the meantime, though, full board run out with champion player losing that hand to lucky you. There haven't been any too many crazy plays in the course of this particular final table. I think mostly standard stuff. And
yeah, I think given the fact that these players have shown that they're playing a solid tight game and a headhunter, in a headhunter as well, then you know that the action's going to be few and far between. So
right. Royal Killer picking up a nice big slick for himself.
So is Royal Killer going to raise, or okay? Here we go.
Yep.
King 2 on the button. Should be folding this anytime soon. All in probably with that.
Yep. Royal Killer has picked up quite a few nice hands, but he's not getting any kind of traction in terms of.
Yeah, we see
against him.
we see a lot. We see a lot of this when people are being dealt junk and one person is getting, the goods, but no goods to connect with against another opponent. So.
Well, champion player doing what some of our other players in past live stream tables have done, leaving a little bit behind and shoving virtually all in on this one. Yep. Hitesh by deciding to take a crack at that, but getting out of the way against that all in.
I'm really surprised I haven't seen a few gambles, to be honest, with the size of these bounties. It's not like champion player in that particular hand. I know it's marginal, King 7, whatever, but it's not like he's costing him, it's more than 60% of his stack. I think it wasn't even half his stack to call. But not just that specific situation, but there have been a few situations here that I think you could have taken. If we dare to say, take a gamble, take a chance.
Well, production has just informed me of an interesting sort of fact here of this final table. Everyone who's been eliminated has been eliminated in the same position as they entered this final table according to their stacks. So Siddharth Barot, who entered as the last stack on this table, and Myron Pereria, who was right after him, eliminated in 8th and 7th place, as were their counts. So did Pot Lords in 6th. And our latest victim, Hai Garmi, which is Vinayak Bajaj's ID, getting knocked out in 5th. And so there's every chance that the trend might just get reversed today if this is the way it goes, because the chip leaders have generally not had a good time in these featured tables. So maybe this is Ajay Lathuria's day, and lucky you will indeed be lucky to win this title. Well, it won't be luck so much as skill, but still.
Yeah, exactly. But so based on that, who's next to go? It's like final. It's like final destination, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we'll take a look at the chip stacks there. Well, the way it looks, it's supposed to be, well, not supposed to be, but Vinayak, I beg your pardon, Tilakumar S, that's Royal Killer. He was fifth on the chip count. So, yeah, Tilakumar, maybe there's a tiny, tiny little, what's the movie that Sam just mentioned? that's the one that you got to be looking up. Final Destination of sorts. But yeah, I'm sure all these players going to bring all of their skills to bear, their experience. We've got a mix of players, mostly in their. I think the oldest player we have here is the chip leader, 37 years old from Delhi, is Ajay Lathuria. So it's still a significantly youngish table. So I think they're going to bring they're going to look at all that experience and their past achievements to come there. In the meantime, though, let's have a look at the leaderboard, the FTS leaderboard that is currently what these players are also playing for. Remember, 10 lakhs up top. It's a 30 lakh leaderboard, and 10 lakhs goes to the top of the leaderboard, winner. So plenty of additional prizes aside from what these guys win in these tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking about leaderboards earlier. It's always nice to be playing for bonus money.
Mm. And yes, the winner is also going to get some other interesting prizes. The 18-karat gold medallion, let's not forget that, which goes the way of the title winner here, along with that nice game face mask and a special gift hamper from the IPC and Spartan Poker as well. So plenty of things to play for all of these players, all of these participants. Remember, we are now at the absolute last stage of this FTS series, just the main event to go, which we will live stream to you tomorrow evening. So there should be a lot of action there. In the meantime, lucky you, having 10-8 against the pocket tens of Hitesh Bhai in this hand. Yeah, no messing about, and the tens take it.
Oh, you can. I think that's quite tight. Although, like we mentioned before, it is a bounty hunter, so you don't want people looking you up light. However, having said that, no one's really looked anyone up light. So based on information, I probably would have shoved the threes.
Yeah. I think Royal Killer probably overheard us mentioning the fact that he was next in line, and he's making sure he does everything possible to undo our statement. But yeah, that is a pretty tight fold. So. And once more, a nice round of garbage.
Everyone's throwing out the trash. Maybe not in this in this instance. Okay.
Will we finally see a flop, even with these marginal holdings by both players? I think this is the first feature table that we've actually seen the chip leader not being as active as past featured tables. There's been a lot of driving, so to speak, being done by past chip leaders. And to be fair, they've had significantly huge chip leads over the rest of the field, and they could afford to do that. In this case, however, Ajay Lathuria, starting off this final table, 51 big blinds against the next highest, who was Hitesh Bhai with 47 big blinds. So not much to choose between all of these stacks. So I'm guessing that also lends a certain amount of caution into the play that these guys are exhibiting here.
Yeah, of course. There's caution, and this is cautious on a whole new level for me, to be honest. I wonder how many of these players have a. Oh,
well, not any more garbage for Royal Killer, but given the other, well, hello, deciding to go a little, well, a three-way pot limped in with the Pocket Kings of Royal Killer, hoping to sort of change up the kind of play we've been seeing. Very subdued, but sure enough, firing out 1.26 on that flop there.
Yeah, this could get in on the turn. I guess Royal Killer's going to go for a big bet, either pot size or even all in himself. Oh.
There have been some strange plays that we're not entirely sure about that have been taking place here.
Go check again.
Yep.
Oh, this is it's an interesting one. I don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, it would not be the most ideal situation for Hitesh Bhai to get a little cute, but he does complete the blind, hoping to see a flop of free, well, relatively free, so to speak.
That's not going to happen. And I think that's slightly too big a raise. I mean, you're against a small blind. 9 times out of 10, if the player has a plan from the small blind of I'm going to check, get it in, then it's going in anyway. But if they don't have that plan, at least try and force them into making some sort of error by calling off less. And
it's like he absolutely didn't want him in that hand.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Pulkit. We need some action going, right? For us commentators as well as our viewers, we should see this hand get popped up just a little bit, I think. Well, once again, the reverse commentator's curse going up against everything that we say is being nullified by some of the decisions that are being taken here at the virtual felts by these players. Wow. I mean, they're subdued, and like Sam says, then they're subdued. I'm not sure what exactly these players are waiting for, but it's really going to take some serious hands for someone to get eliminated at this stage.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to take aces against kings or kings against queens to actually see something happen here. This is unfortunate for.
Yeah, the player is going to be getting out of the way soon.
Wow. I mean, a slow play has to be the answer to this.
Yeah, it's a very safe board at the moment for Hitesh Bhai, so... And well... We're not going to say anything more about this final table or the way these guys are playing the way they are, because clearly we are operating on different planets at the moment.
What planet will be operating on if champion player now shoves all in?
Oh yeah, there is that chance, every chance that's there. I find it unlikely though. We've been both proven wrong with some of the decisions that these players have made, so you never know. Although I think given champion player's caliber and the kind of experience he brings to bear, it should be an easy fold from his end.
Yeah, there we go.
So it is.
7-9 suit is a pretty hand. That's a great cash game hand, but
No joy in the headhunter, though.
yeah, hunting heads, not cash. They've got a straight between them. But these three players, button, small blind, big blind, had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 between them.
Yep.
There's got to be a bonus for that, surely.
Only if it were a cash game with some, well, slightly strange rules to it, but yeah. And similar hands for Hitesh Bhai and Royal Killer.
Yeah, this is another all-in candidate for sure. King 9. Nice and easy.
And once again, almost going all in is champion player. And he should pick up those chips quite comfortably.
Again, look, Ace King. No one's picked up anything on there.
Yeah. And the Ace King is in the big blind, so it's not like he's gaining all that many more chips. But, well, it's definitely not a case of the rich getting richer at this featured table of the header. It's the most non-headhuntery event that I have had the pleasure of seeing. But it's early days yet. Still 4 players remaining on this table, and we never know. Some of our past live streams have ended literally in a matter of minutes. So all it takes is a few hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've seen many times when the action slows down 5-4 handed, we think we're going to be in for a long ride, and then suddenly within 2 or 3 hands, it goes heads up, and then.
I am a little surprised that the bigger stacks haven't been more active. It's very unusual.
Yeah, and it's strange because it's been consistent throughout the whole of the final table. It's not like it's not like they've changed gears. It's been sort of seems to be the game plan the whole way. I mean, I guess in a bounty, do you win particularly big for if you win it for winning your own bounty? Maybe that's what the goal is. Just to get that number 1 spot, whatever it takes.
Well, that might be one thought, certainly in the minds of these players. Seems a little unlikely, though. In the meantime, let me bring our viewers back to the contest question we asked you earlier. And we've got an update on the prize of that second question. The contest question was, from which word is poker derived? And we will give away 2 tickets to the lucky winners. And they will get a ticket into the recharge event at Spartan Poker on Monday evening. And that's worth 2,200 rupees. 8 p.m.'s recharge tournament, Monday evening. So get your answers into that contest question as soon as you can. And we will try and announce the winners as soon as possible. Again, good hands, but only being picked up by 1 player, and it's just a matter of raising, and that's the end of the hand right there.
Mm-hmm. Nice to see champion players start raising more on the button, because the opportunity's been there.
And he certainly has the talent and the resume for it. He's he's exhibited more than enough finishes in the past. Winning a car, for God's sake. That's I don't know if there's anything that could provide more testament to that. He's certainly a rock solid grinder. Mm-hmm. And so it's a tad unusual to see the chip players not being as aggressive as we expect them to be.
I mean, yeah. I think all the players are waiting for the tide to turn. They're all looking at garbage, and everyone's saying, you know, I'll just fold now. I'll go next hand. 9-10 suited, a pretty cash game hand, but tournament chips on the line.
Well, no one's got a piece of that flop, so it's just down to who decides to pull the trigger on this one. It's just crazy.
Ace king and nothing.
I mean, either it takes some serious big hands to go up against each other, or someone's really going to suffer a brain fart, which leads them to do something really silly. And I don't think door number 2 is an option here, because there's just way too much experience in all of these guys to make those kind of, well, really elementary mistakes in that sense.
Yeah. Ace 3, another suitable candidate for opening the button with. I think being the effective stacker, thought ace high on the button. I thought you might just decide to pile in.
I mean, let alone anyone getting cute with big hands. No one's gotten cute with small hands, well, with no kind of hands, in fact. So, well, finally, lucky you firing out something there. But he did have the goods. And Hitesh Bhai quickly folding, giving up that pot.
Another strong hand, but
equally
nothing.
Terrible on the other side.
Everyone seems to be picking up 7 deuce and 7-4, you know.
It's made its presence felt.
The secret 7 deuce game. Don't tell me it's decided now's the time. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it. Get the 7 deuce and again, look at this, crazy. Ace 10, bunch of rags everywhere. Standard shove, easy fold.
Yeah, it's just been standard all the way through these last several hands that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a really good hand for one of the players and not much else going for the others. Although,
there's
suited
a good chance.
Cards.
This is definitely a shove from... Wow.
He's bleeding at this moment, is Royal Killer. Listen, maybe we've spoken a little too soon about that finishing position, man. Feel free to do whatever else you feel like in the course of this final table. Tilakumar S playing as Royal Killer, down to a little over 400,000. 430,000, I should say.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. But it's, yeah. Finally, we see some It's been a while since we've seen someone really free bet pre. Wow.
Hello. It looks like both these players have decided that enough is enough.
Yeah.
Well, at least we saw some playback in this particular hand, even though Lucky You goes ahead and does the right thing, folding that hand of his. But yeah.
Yes. So they clearly know what they're doing. They're just deciding not to, not to do it in this particular matchup. Showing that they're capable of, that big 4-bet bluff all in pre, and yet champion players, it's like he's picked the perfect spot. We haven't seen a hand like this for the whole thing, and then he's chosen that perfect spot like he knows that Lucky You has to fold.
Yeah.
At some point, this needs to become an all-in on the button when you pick up, the ace highs. That's what he's doing. You know what happens whenever you get someone dealt ace king? The inevitable.
Yep.
Rags everywhere. Okay. This would be a wrong time to try and jam.
Yep.
I don't think Lucky You is going to put another cent into this pot.
Sure enough. Hitesh by adding to his stack with that one. I think we're just going to have to wait for two hands, which have the capacity of going up against each other. Just the way it's gone down in the last, for the entirety of the time that we've come back, it's been quite a slow ride, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since the game is going the way it is going, let me ask you, Sam. Clearly, we're all hoping that live poker starts sooner rather than later. And if it does open up the way it does across the world, I know you're much more of a live player than an online player now anyway. And so what would be your, I would say, top two destinations or venues that you'd want to sort of go? Aside from the obvious, Vegas, of course, is on everyone's list, but any particular destination that you'd fancy going to?
Well, I'd like to go back to the Philippines. Not that I really enjoyed it over there myself, but my wife's family's there, and it'd be nice just to spend some time. I think the live poker rooms might be opening up there.
Yeah. We've just been seeing, yeah. I enjoy the Philippines myself, but yeah, I mean, if I could take away one thing, it's the traffic. I mean, it's to say Manila's traffic is notorious is probably the understatement of the century. But for most other things, it's really nice, and the people are so fun and pleasant. I've always enjoyed my trips to that city.
Yeah, I hate the traffic in Manila. There was a time when, I just, I once took a flight and I diverted for some reason via Tokyo, just so I wouldn't have to spend time in the airport in Manila.
Wow.
It was that bad.
Well, speaking of this final table, we've got an interesting hand developing here. Finally, two good hands going up against each other. Well, if past hands are any indication, Hitesh Bhai is just going to fold this one. And of course, I am proven wrong once again.
Yeah, this. Oh, and I think this is the card, the perfect card for Hitesh to actually semi-bluff shove with, and I think that's that's what he's going to do. I think Lucky You would do good to check once more, but I think he's going to bet. I mean, does the hero call come in? You beat exactly Queen 10, and that's about it, I think.
Yeah, it would be a monster surprise if he goes ahead and calls this just by going by whatever they've been doing in the past. So, yep. Quietly folding that hand. And rewarded, it seems, in the very next one. Black Kings for Hitesh Bhai.
And as is the norm, the big blind has 7 deuce.
That's true. I think he's just swinging on either side of the table, that's all. Very, very strange. And Royal Killer, unfortunately, decides this is the moment to take a stand.
Yeah, he's sitting down after this one, wondering what went wrong.
Well, and there you have it, folks. We are down to 3-way. And again, Sam, we painted that bullseye on him. He was 4th in chips when this final table began, and he's eliminated in 4th position as well. Sorry, man.
Wow.
I don't know. We didn't really bring that on you, but it almost feels like a little bit that we did. Just some strange stuff going on here at this final table. Tilakumar S playing as Royal Killer, the latest elimination at this Headhunter final table. And he takes home 217,000 rupees, 2.17 lakhs for his 4th place finish. And the two trends that we've observed, one, of course, that the chip leader never goes on to win. Thus far, let's put it a little more clearly there. And specifically for this final table, every player who came in on this final table has gotten eliminated in the same position as their starting chip stack. And we don't know. That's a good thing for Lucky You. But in the meantime, pocket jacks for Hitesh Bhai.
Jack 9 suited is such a pretty hand.
Yeah, but I like it too. I like Jack 10, Jack 9 suited. Nice. A champion player displaying lesser niceness than we do for that hand. It's not a cash game after all, but it is the Headhunter.
Now it's reversed. The junk is in the under the gun position,
yeah.
and the good cards come from the big blind.
So it seems. And backdoor flush for champion player. Let's see what he decides to do with this hand, given that Hitesh Bhai is also caught top pair here. Well, if he flat calls here, we might finally get the action that we're hoping for. Yes, he does. And yes, they get there. Champion player hitting his flush on the turn there with the 7 of diamonds popping up. It is a small flush though, so I don't think he's going to be much more comfortable in that sense. But yeah, it is a flush. He is presently ahead.
Yeah, it's going to check down, I guess. I don't know how thin champion player goes. Whether he bet the 5 of diamonds for value, but
I mean, those 4 diamonds definitely a scary situation for Hitesh Bhai. So wisely checking, and so too does champion player with his baby flush on that one, taking down that nice spot, and he is the chip leader now after that hand. Little over 2 million in chips. But Hitesh Bhai not far behind. And for once, there's no ace king or kings and 7 deuce against it. But
yeah, there's a deuce and a king. But
and there's a 7, it's just spread all over the place.
And a pair of jacks, which neither of us know how to play.
Oh my God. I mean, in my very limited capacity of being a leisure player, I mean, I cannot tell you the number of pocket jacks that have just been hammered on these live and virtual felts. But yeah, sometimes I've just outright folded sometimes jacks just because I'm like, I just don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone hates playing them. I still hate playing them to this day. Another 7 deuce, yes. £3.50.
Yeah, clearly keeping with the trend at this final table are these hands.
Well, if Hitesh pills this one and a jack comes, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, we'll see some fireworks. Once again, very, very subdued play from pretty much all of these players. It's almost like clockwork. I mean, they let go of like a marginal hand and then it seems like they're getting rewarded in the very next one.
Yeah. I will talk about rewards once the 10-3's made a flush on the river. But I think this hand's gonna... Oh, did he just... He's limped.
Yeah, he's limped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nothing much going on that flop for either player, but Hitesh Bhai's ace king still quite ahead. And as I say it, champion player hits a pair of threes on that turn. Very innocuous board. I think Hitesh Bhai will be he'll be feeling quite confident about his holdings.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, still playing coy. Will we see a battle of the blinds here? Queen Jack, again, a nice hand, suited cards. Oh, okay. Clearly nice enough for him to push the trigger on that one.
Wow. King 2 suited. That's a strong hand. Heads up. Ace 9. It's yeah. All in. Sixes. That's a... Oh no, that's a mid-raise. Okay. I feel like I'd just like to shove in there because the champion player can easily just put pressure at any 2 cards.
Yeah.
So either shove or don't open at all, I think. Having said that, he hasn't shown the propensity to do that, so, you know, why not if you're not going to play back? And lucky you with another lot. Well, I was going to say another nice spot to play back. But we go to a flop now, which actually favours the Jack 10 instead of the King Jack.
Lucky you being the aggressor on this one, betting out a little under 2 lakhs on that turn card. And he gets some action as well. Nope, backing off on that river. Let's see if Hitesh Bhai has the gumption to put one out there, and yes, he does.
Yeah, that should get the job done straight away. I mean, Two pretty hands, blind and blind.
This would be fun in a cash game for sure. Ooh,
Oh,
hello.
yes. Very fun. What we need is the 10 of spades
Yep.
or the 6 of clubs. Yeah, well, he's surely not fault.
Well, Sam Razavi calling it like a Jedi with that six. Right after this final table, Sam's heading to the nearest lottery shop and picking up a whole bunch of tickets because there's some serious mind play that he's pulled off on that one.
Look at this mini-me, I just called in the 6.
And a significant pot going the way of Lucky You with that flush of his, a queen high flush. And Hitesh Bhai taking a hit to his stack after a fair while now.
Yeah.
I do believe this is called tilt.
Yeah, awful rags all round.
I mean, in more than half of these instances, I really can't blame the players because it would take some really high quality play for them to mess about with these marginal hands. That being said, champion player has actually got a piece of this.
I think it's given the texture of the board, it's an easy check behind, really.
Wow. He is not fooling around, but champion player not going anywhere, calling once again.
Yeah, and I think lucky you. If the diamond doesn't come, maybe he pulls a bigger bullet.
Yep. Now champion player pulling ahead into the lead a bit more.
Yeah, I'd love to see him open his game a bit now. You can really apply maximum pressure.
Please go ahead.
I was going to say, especially when you've got two opponents that aren't really playing back, and are cautious about taking pre-flop all-in, confrontations. So I'd probably be just shoving any two cards every hand.
Yep. I'm hoping, in fact, what I was about to say was I'm hoping that the Queen Deuce was an indication of him beginning to step up the aggression. So let's see if that is something that he actually follows through with.
Nine deuce, perfect blackjack hand.
Double.
Toil and trouble. Woo!
I think a combination of these really weak hands and none of these players wanting to do anything too creative has extended this final table way longer than I think previous live stream tables have gone on for. I can certainly feel the pinch, but a nice king pair for Lucky You against Hitesh Bhai's nines here.
Yeah, and I think he's... Wow!
Well, that's a nice lucky card for Hitesh Bhai. A fortuitous river for Hitesh, who turns nines up.
And it's so disguised that he's going to snap. He's going to snap this off on the end. The straight draws, flush draws. He didn't raise before the flop, so you could discount the ace. It's just so unfortunate, that run out.
A bit of a rough hand there for lucky you, but these things happen sometimes, and well, into the next hand here.
Let's see if the range opens up a bit here, and Hitesh decides, hang on a second, King 10, why not?
I'm really not holding my breath. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think it was too much of a bet for him to take on for a stack.
Yeah.
This could be interesting.
Button and small blind definitely have two nice hands.
Champion player mentally shouting, but they're suited. He won't be very happy if he gets a call from Hitesh Bhai, but it's still a nice hand nonetheless.
Yeah, and this is exactly what champion players should be doing. Just pouncing on those.
Now that lead is opened up, it's quite significant now. He's got 3 million in chips, and he has to start, well, I wouldn't say bullying the table, but certainly at least pushing the other stacks around just a little bit if he has some kind of a decent holding.
Well,
queen could be absolute disaster.
queen would be the gin card. And I can see, no peeling here. If he does peel, you know he's going to get rewarded. Nope.
Well, I'm glad to see at least he's become a little more active. Just a smidge, but a little more active has Pulkit Goyal become in this three-way action that we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Again, some nice, pretty cash game cards that we keep seeing here.
Those small suited connectors are just a dream. The Macau dream.
Yep. And we're back to kind of decent cards versus not that great hand.
Full high.
Well, we did say he should be opening up. We just didn't expect him to open up with those kind of cards behind him. But yeah.
Yeah, these hands with the blinds as they are now, this is just all in, you know. All in, lovely. Now we're going.
There we go.
Now this, he should really cool this off now because this is a strong... Oh, never mind.
And once again, us commentators have been thwarted with our predictions, so to speak. But I'm glad to see champion players taking a bit of a lead here in terms of at least getting more active with that. Well, it's a significant lead over the next big stack, 3-1. So we should expect more.
Yeah, although if he tries this again, which he has, he's in trouble.
Boy.
Oh,
Oh! Well, that was the only way that he could have won that hand, and he did. Hitting that flush on the river, did champion play, and with that, lucky bhai, I'm saying, lucky you, not quite that lucky. Ajay Lathuria finishing up in third position for 2.68 lakhs. And Sam, the trend continues. The chip leader once again falling short of the title. Boy.
yeah, it's just a curse, really, isn't it? Like,
Well, if that last hand was anything to go by, I think it's best that I quickly get done with the contest question and announce the winners. We've got a couple of winners for that contest question. The question was, from which word is poker derived? And the answer is poke. I think it's a French word. So poke is the word that we're looking at, a French word, P-O-Q-U-E, just for those of you who are interested in how that's spelled. And the two lucky winners who get a ticket into the recharge event on Monday evening are Jay Mundal playing as Daya Moid and Piyush Ravi who plays as Ancap. So congratulations to Joy and Piyush for winning that recharge ticket worth 2,200 rupees each. And we will see you at the recharge event tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Well, top pair for champion player and a draw for Hitesh Bhai here.
yeah, I can't see Hitesh peeling off to hit his draw. It should be a fold if he limps. It's going all in, so.
I think I'd be just slamming it in every hand from here on out just because of the sheer lead that's there.
Yeah, queen high in. Let's go.
And Pulkit Goyal hears us loud and clear as he moves all in with his queen 5. Hitesh Bhai desperately looking for a hand to go up against the all-ins, and again a nice hand for champion player. But this time, boy, and a heart. Oh, well, it was really close for Hitesh in that particular hand. One card away from doubling up and making a go of this heads-up match, but it was not to be, as the pocket sevens of champion player, aka Pulkit Goyal, triumphing in this headhunter event. And with that, we have a winner. Congratulations to Pulkit Goyal. Well played to all the finalists, including the runner-up, Hitesh Batra, playing as Hitesh Bhai. And the top two prizes for those heads-up players, 3.8 lakhs for Hitesh, and of course the top prize of 5.65 lakhs for our winner. That's Pulkit Goyal playing as champion player. And remember, he gets that 18-karat gold medallion going his way, and a special game face mask and a gift hamper from Spartan Poker as well. So we have come to the end of this stream. Once again, apologies for the earlier technical glitch due to our servers being down for a short while, but we have enjoyed the remainder of that headhunter nonetheless. And eventually, it was Pulkit Goyal who outlasted everyone at this headhunter event to claim the title. We will be back tomorrow for the finale of it all, the grand finale, the main event. 2 crores guaranteed for the players who are participating. That's right, as Sam Razavi fawns over his precious. There's plenty of prize money there to be played for. And I'm sure we will see an action-packed final table there as well. It's time for us to say goodbye, but before we leave, I'd like to thank Sam Razavi for joining us on this live stream, and Muskan Sethi, who was also part of the broadcast. Till tomorrow evening, this is Peter Abraham saying goodbye and take care.